Hello there and welcome. Credit reference bureaus are working to soon provide a profile of mobile money lenders in the country. Now, this will ensure that persons with good credit history can secure loans through this platform on time. They are also working to begin providing credit scores of borrowers. Now, the move is expected to help improve credit appraisals and check the current high loan default rate. George Ahiafo is chief executive of the credit reference company XDS Data.
Submitting data, but they are yet to use this thing to the fullest. They're not using it for all the reasons they should be using it. So there's still some gap there. And, we needed to be using it for acquiring customers like a KYC, because we have all that information on the database. They needed to do some analysis with the information on the individual. It's not a blacklisting database. You see the person's performance, and then you use it based on your risk appetite. You use it to structure something for the person, and also that the people, the consumers, they need to understand this. That when you're going to the bank to borrow money, you're not begging the bank. You understand? So you need to know your profile so that when you go there and you think that the rate is too high for you, you can go to the next person or you can bargain it down. So the understanding from the consumer side and the understanding to a certain extent from the financial institution side is all lacking fully. The full understanding is still lagging behind.
Do I get from you that the platform, you think that is still underutilized in terms of the potential of
the
credit reference?
Exactly.
Why?
It's underutilized. Well, because the inquiries that we get is basically when people come to look for a loan. You understand? But they can use it when new people or new consumers come to open an account.
Now, the Bank of Ghana is calling for regular debt management that includes regular access to the domestic market with an eye on non-resident investors. Now, according to the First Deputy Governor, Dr. Maxwell Opoku-Afari, there is a need to ensure regular access to the international capital market to maintain a stable exchange rate and inflation, as well as sustain real estate, that's real sector growth, at the rate enough to pay down existing debt. For frontier economies like Ghana, Dr. Opoku-Afari, who was speaking at a conference on financing low-income countries, said that debt sustainability and the growth have become the most critical policy anchor underpinning macroeconomic management. He emphasized that the country has opted for the clear path that requires maintenance of sound macroeconomic fundamentals. Now, Ghana will become a sub-Saharan African regional outperformer this year as economic recovery is likely to gather pace for the rest of the year. Now, this is according to the latest sub-Saharan macroeconomic update by Fitch Solutions, research arm of Fitch Ratings. Now, majority of African countries will, however, record a recession in this regard. Charles Nixon-Yeboah has more in this report.
The comprehensive report indicates that both consumer and business confidence are rising after the further easing of COVID-19 restrictions. This affirms the Bank of Ghana's recent survey that the pace of economic activities are picking up whilst business and consumer confidence are increasing. Having experienced a mild contraction in the second quarter of this year, the report said the economy is likely to gather pace as evidenced by the recent high-frequency data for the third quarter of this year. This will result in a gross domestic product growth of 1.3%, making Ghana an outperformer in the sub-Saharan African region. The economy contracted by 3.2% in the second quarter of this year, a situation Fitch Solutions described as a minor contraction. It further added that the contraction was shallow and compares favorably with the deeper contractions witnessed in South Africa and Nigeria. William Atwell is a senior country risk analyst in the sub-Saharan African team of Fitch Solutions.
Ghana has a market that has been a bit more resilient on account of the fact that it has a rather more diversified export base and not as exposed to the oil price slump as Nigeria has been. Its other exports, gold, cocoa, performing relatively well given the circumstances of the 2020 global recession. And also lockdown measures in Ghana were removed relatively sooner than in other SSA markets. So it's one of the key SSA markets that we're not projecting a recession for. So we're projecting growth of 1.3% this year.
Fitch Solutions had earlier projected 1.96% GDP growth rate for Ghana for this year. It affirmed the 2.7% growth rate of Ivory Coast as the highest GDP in sub-Saharan Africa for this year.
Now, Ghana is ranked 3rd out of 48 sub-Saharan African countries in the Telecoms Risk and Reward Index. Now, this is a disclosure by Fitch Solutions. Globally, the nation is, however, ranked 73rd. Charles Nixon Yeboah looks at the rankings and the impact of the industry on the nation's gross domestic product.
The nation scored 52.1% in the Reward Index, which prioritized stronger subscription growth and regulator data support. It, however, scored 62% with regard to the Risk Index, which highlights social, economic, and political instability as well as security risk. Overall, the country's telecommunications market looks attractive than all the sub-Saharan African countries, with the exception of South Africa and Nigeria, which placed 1st and 2nd respectively. The nation also registered a strong performance for regulatory independence. Its score of 69.6% places it 2nd behind Rwanda, but at par with 8 other sub-Saharan African countries, including South Africa. In terms of rural-urban split, the report noted that the nation was performing averagely. In terms of the youth population, that is 24 years and below, 77.9% are using mobile phone. This is compared with 92% in Ghana and 61.3% in South Africa. The GDP per capita of 26.1% is also higher than Nigeria, but lower than South Africa. The telecommunication industry was among the top 3 tax contributor in 2019. Despite COVID-19 pandemic that triggered contraction in the economy, information and communication subsector grew by 74.2% in the 2nd quarter of this year. The report pointed out that more African markets are reporting faster advanced mobile data services uptake and strong growth in mobile financial services. Over the coming quarters, it expects operators to benefit from most cost-effective approaches to grow their subscriber bases.
You're still watching The Marketplace. Now, if there is any good that the coronavirus left us with, we're talking of here in Ghana, it has to do with the whip-up interest in locally manufactured products, especially chicken. Now, the reason why we're making this argument is that the Ghana Poultry Project has said that the demand for local poultry increased by almost 50% in the course of this year due to COVID-19. In this particular report, we examined this impact on Ghana's largest local poultry producer, Daco Farms, as they claim the import bill on poultry has reduced drastically by 1.5 million Ghana cedis. There is more in this report. The impact of the novel coronavirus on local poultry producers has been overwhelmingly positive. Here at Daco Farms, managers say the global pandemic has raked in more revenue than ever before.
Following all the protocols on our farm, you know, before COVID-19 came, even to enter this farm, you need to take a shower, you need to go through all those protocols already. So on the farms itself, it was nothing new to go through all the protocols.
According to the Deputy Managing Director of Daco Farms, Samuel Daco, the demand for local day-old chicks by various farmers has skyrocketed following the closure of the land and sea borders, which restricted the importation of day-old chicks.
You know, we have a lot of farmers who were not interested in local day-old chicks, which they thought the local hatcheries are not able to produce good quality. But with the COVID-19 issue and the closure of the airports, no day-old chicks were allowed to come in. So all these farmers were supposed to fall back, and they all fell back to Dako farms. And now they have seen, and we have a lot of the farmers who have come back to us who are picking day-old chicks from us. They have now realized that the quality that they import is also available here in Ghana. So in a way, it has helped us positively.
In 2018, Ghana imported 511,000 broiler day-old chicks and over 7 million layer day-old chicks. Currently, there is limited regulation on local hatcheries. The government of Ghana is yet to pass into law a hatchery bill, which will ensure that quality day-old chicks are produced from domestic hatcheries. With local demand for day-old chicks rising thanks to COVID, Dako Farms is in the best position to dominate the market. Good news there for Ghana's local poultry producers. Still in the agric sector, plant protectionists and agric scientists at the University of Cape Coast have been mourning the effect of COVID-19 that has reduced the importation of poultry feed and other protein needs of the country. Now, according to the scientists, the development has had a far-reaching implication on the poultry industry and other protein needs and must be tackled. There is more in this report.
The current research in collaboration with the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture is aimed at producing high-yielding, disease-resistant and drought-tolerant varieties of the soya bean. Apart from the aforementioned qualities in the breeding lines of the soya bean varieties being worked on by the university is assuring the varieties would be climatically adaptable. Lead investigator on the project, Professor Aaron Tete Asare, says Ghana needs to up its production in soya bean, especially as the COVID-19 pandemic has reduced the importation of soya bean products. He fears the poultry industry could suffer as a result if Ghana does not take urgent steps to produce its own soya beans to support the poultry industry and the country's protein needs.
Because of the COVID-19 currently, most of the soybean that is being imported could not be, especially in developing fish meal and then poultry farming. So we need to come out with improved varieties that would be cultivated by farmers to enable them expand their farms and then to have the requisite yield in order to supplement, the food sources for animals. And soybean, because of its protein dense, is very important for poverty endemic areas where families cannot afford adequate protein in the diet. So by consuming soybean, we will have the requisite protein nutrients in the diet, and children will not suffer from kwashiorkor and other malnourished diseases. In fact,
the scientists at the university with other partners have also been working on numerous cowpea varieties that have helped farmers and supported in the food security of the country. A co-collaborator and plant protectionist, Professor Elvis Asare discusses the other key focus of the research.
This project is also trying to look at the adaptability of some cowpea varieties that we are trying to breed, we are developing, and see how they can adapt to the coastal savanna, the forest and transitional zone. Soybean is grown in Ghana, basically mainly concentrated at the northern part, in other words, the savanna region. And we want to assess the adaptability of this soybean in the coastal savanna, the forest, the transitional zone.
The farmers selected the breeding lines of the soya bean being developed to cultivate in their farms and give feedback to the researchers to inform them what their picks of the varieties would be. Richard Kwejo, Joy News, Cape Coast.
About 3,800 farmers in the Gushegu municipality have benefited from farming services provided by the Outgrown Business Network, a farmer-based organization. Now, the service includes land preparation, threshing, marketing, and farming inputs as well.
The 16 outgrower associations grow maize, soya, rice, cowpea, and groundnuts. The aim of the program is to increase production of these crops. Speaking to Joy Business after a cleanup exercise in the Gushegu Municipal Hospital, Chairman of the OB Network, Alhassan Mumuni Baba, said the network's purpose is also to promote and protect members' business and ensure sustainability.
The whole network, we have 16 members, and each member has OGs. OGs means outgrowers. He has smallholder farmers under them. So in the network, with that 16 members, we have over 3,000 outgrowers who are behind that is the smallholder farmers. We have over 3,000 of them. Each and every year, we farm for them. We provide farming services to those outgrowers. And some of them will pay cash, and at the end of the season, others will pay in kind. Those who do not have money to pay at the point of service delivery, then they will wait. We'll sign an agreement at the end of the season. When they harvest, they will pay in kind. And apart from provision of tractor services, we also give some of them fertilizers and chemicals. At the end of the season, they will pay in kind. That is what the network is doing. And
he said the association is also to instill the spirit of cooperation and understanding among members to enhance business gains.
A lot of leakages we have within, even among our members, we have those who are aggregators, a lot of them. So therefore, when it is time for, after harvesting, when we harvest, we'll let them, we'll inform our members, the OGs, so that when it is time for selling, they will bring all that they have. Then we'll gather it at a point and know this is the number of soybeans bags we have. This is the number of rice we have. This is the number of maize we have. Then we'll link up with our buyers. Then they will come down and we'll supply to them.
Consultant for the OB network, Maurice Bakan, said the USAID Advance is supporting the network with the village savings and loans components.
If you look at this network, they are a maker of 16 OBs. We say OBs, that's outgrow businesses. And then these outgrow businesses were trained and nurtured by Advance. Then in the year 2017 March, then we look at it wise that these outgrowers have to come together to work as a team so that they can leverage on each other resources to serve their outgrowers, their smallholder farmers. So when we formed the network, then the project faded out, and then we have an extension. So it's this extension that they assign me to the network to nurture them, to give them advice on their outgrower, link them to market service, and then also link them to input, firm, saving and loan, so that they can save towards production. When they save and it's time for production, they can share out and use the money to buy input for their production.
Civil society organizations in agriculture in the Upper East region are calling on government to extend the Planting for Food and Jobs program, which they say is presently focused on rainy season production to include dry season production. At a regional stakeholder engagement forum held in Bolgatanga, the Upper East Civil Society Organizations and Agriculture Platform also called on the Department of Food and Agriculture to consider close collaboration with Ghana Agro-Input Dealers Association in the registration of credible input dealers to minimize smuggling of these inputs. Here is a report by Albert Sori.
The Upper East Civil Society Organizations in Agriculture Platform is an umbrella of CSOs and private sector actors in the agriculture sector. It was established in April 2017 with the objective of contributing to the growth of agriculture in the Upper East region and the country at large. As part of that objective, the Upper East Civil Society Organizations in Agriculture Platform recently organized a stakeholders forum in Bolgatanga to deliberate on the role of agro-input dealers in the delivery of government's Planting for Food and Jobs program in the Upper East region. Participating in the forum were traditional authorities, agro-input dealers, the Women in Agriculture Platform, and the media.
some of the input dealers have raised concerns like fertilizers being smuggled out. They've also raised concerns like political interference in some of the areas with regards to fertilizer allocation. They've also mentioned issues like fertilizer storage challenges.
Personally, I appreciate the government's idea of planting for food and jobs. I believe that it has come to stay, and whether it is NPP or no NPP, it must stay. I think it's just like when a champion came into government and said, Operation Feed Yourself. This is just a second Operation Feed Yourself, and so we all need to embrace it and make sure that it stays.
At the end of the forum, the Upper East Civil Society Organizations in Agriculture platform issued a communique demanding, among other things, that government extends the Planting for Food and Jobs program to include dry season production. They say the program is presently focused on rainy season production alone.
There is a need to extend the Planting for Food and Jobs program, which is presently focused on rainy season production, to include dry season production in a bid to promote dry season agriculture as a contributor to food and nutrition security and poverty alleviation in the region and Ghana as a whole. We highly recommend to all key stakeholders to totally eliminate all forms of political interference in the registration and or selection of input dealers. And it is our firm conviction that the key criteria for the selection should be based on previous track record, financial capacity of input dealers, and overall credibility.
They also want the Department of Food and Agriculture to consider close collaboration with the Ghana Agro Input Dealers Association in the registration of credible input dealers to minimize smuggling of these inputs.
We are also appealing to the minister and then the regional director that they should investigate well and then know the real input dealers that are on grounds during the dry season and even the major season, which is the rain season. Because it has come to our notice that when the season is beginning, some new registration who are not trained input dealers come in and register to be part of the business. And these people, they come in and after the major season, they go out. You don't see them, they don't exist anymore.
The Upper East Regional Officer in charge of the Planting for Food and Jobs program, Joshua Diedong, said government was doing more to expand the program. He said every Ghanaian citizen needs to be vigilant and support the government for the policy to succeed. For JoyNews, Albert Sori, reporting from Bolgatanga.
That's how we end this edition of The Marketplace. You may want to stay with JoyNews, your election headquarters, as we bring you election brief with Arba Kumston. Do stay.